After a chaotic Michigan 400, we'll be hoping for a good, clean race in Kentucky. Defending champion Sam Hornish starts from third on the grid in his Penske Dallara Toyota. We're at the Kentucky International Speedway for the Belterra Casino Indy 300. Hello everyone, it's round 11 of the IRL, the Indy Racing League, in what's turning out to be a closely fought series, and tonight's race will be run on the mile-and-a-half track, which is the Kentucky International Speedway. Well, last year we had a good strong race with plenty of overtaking, and we're hoping for more of the same this time. Sharing the evening with me, our regular US racing expert Paul Cherry, alongside him Johnny Molam, who spends most of his time racing in the States, just been racing this weekend at Silverstone. Welcome to both of you. Before we start and have a chat, let's take a look first of all at the headlines. Buddy Rice takes his fifth pole of the season, with championship leader Tony Kanaan alongside him on the front row. And the IRL have confirmed expansion with two road course events in their 2005 schedule. The first will be run on August the 22nd at the Infineon Raceway, Sonoma in California, with the second on September the 26th at the historic Watkins Glen course in New York State. Well, Honda have now won 9 IRL events, split between Andretti Green Racing and Rahal Letterman Racing. Will the domination continue this time? Well, following the dramatic pit lane accidents in Michigan 2 weeks ago, the IRL have now handed out undisclosed fines to both Mike Salas of Fernandez Racing and Don Lambert of Mo Nunn Racing. More on that later. Right, well, the start of the race is still some time away, so let's first of all get to some questions to the boys. First of all, what about British interest in all this, Paul? Because we know how well some of the British drivers have done recently. What do you make of it this time round?
Again, another strong performance from all the guys. We've got Dario's our leading runner there in 5th place. We've got Darren Manning out there in 8th place. And we've got Mark and Dan Weldon lining up on the 6th row. So they're all in with a good chance. Yeah,
and how well do you think, Johnny, this particular circuit is going to suit these boys? What do you make of the British Challenge? I mean, it's fascinating from a distance to watch how the British boys cope with this event.
Yeah, I mean, it's so close. I mean, running on ovals like they do now, it doesn't, well, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter where you qualify, but it's far less important. So long as you're on the lead lap, sort of 15 laps to go, it can all come together for you very late in the race. So even though Dan Weldon's qualified a little bit further down than he's used to, I'd still say that I would put my money on him and Dario being in with the best shout of a good finish, or maybe even a win.
Yeah, and Paul, what do you make of this whole thing about the Honda domination, really, in so many ways? Is this something we've just got to get used to and accept?
Honda do it in every series they get involved. They did it in kart years ago. They just keep pushing the envelope and working away, and they put budget into development like you can't believe. And everybody else has to catch up. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Now, Johnny, you 3 weeks ago, you raced at Infineon. Do you think it's going to make for a good venue for next year's racing?
Absolutely. I think it's fantastic that they're going.
It's a new one to me, I've got to admit.
No, it's a great circuit. It's one of the few, in fact, funnily enough, Sears Point and Watkins Glen are the two road racing circuits that NASCAR race at. So they're very well developed for dealing with large crowds, and I think it's a definite bonus to have road races on their calendar.
OK, let's now just talk about these pit lane incidents that I mentioned at the top of the show. First of all, the IRL have taken a pretty firm line, I think you'd say, Paul, with the crew chiefs of Fernandez and Mo Nunn Racing. Do you think they've been fair enough, or were they not tough enough?
I think they were fair enough, and I think they've been quite tough to these teams. This year we've seen a number of pit lane incidents that have gone completely without any punishment or comment. And yes. I think the time has come now for people to say, hang on, this is a very dangerous work area.
Absolutely. There's a very serious accident about to happen if we're not careful. Let's take a look first of all at the first incident. This was the one involving the Scheckter team. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, Thomas just making a normal pit stop here, totally unprepared for what happened behind him. And unfortunately here one of his crew was injured and did have a broken leg.
Yeah.
This is a high pressure environment, as we keep saying. Now we watch it from the other angle.
There he is, the yellow car going to the pit wall now.
And there we go, immediately Takagi. Now look, Takagi's crew throwing their hands up in horror, and now Thomas Schecter's crew throwing their hands up in horror.
Yeah.
They sent the car out. Takagi's crew are totally to blame, and that's what that's the view the IRL took.
Yeah, and Johnny, let's have a look at the other incident now, and Johnny, we'll get your thoughts on this, but this is another sort of situation, you know, I mean, who is at fault here?
Well, I mean, absolutely, the car being left, Adrian being let out there, but it's difficult because, I mean, at the end of the day, as a driver, once the the chap with the lollipop says go, you go.
You
I mean, you can't be afford to be looking over your shoulder like feeding onto a motorway.
Because they say, why don't you go? Go.
You go, and the lateral vision is so appalling in these cars, and you can't sort of crane it over and look over your right shoulder. The mirrors see very little what's going out, because obviously the aerodynamics, they want tiny mirrors. So with the angle you're coming out at, you know, as people will know, even just driving down the motorway, you can have people in your blind spot pulling out. Everybody will be in their blind spot, so they're just trusting that they're coming out in space. So the person letting them go, it's their responsibility.
And Paul, you've got thoughts on this one too. I mean, unfortunately, you're saying this is really down to one particular person making the wrong decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard call in any series that has pit stops. There is one guy who has ultimate control of whether the car can leave that particular box area. Once you've made that call, as Johnny says, you're committed to going. The other problem with these cars, with carbon brakes, once they've had a pit stop, the brakes are cold. If he sees somebody and puts his foot on the brake, nothing will happen. It will not stop, because there's no heat in the brakes. So very possibly he saw it at the last minute, but he still barreled into it. There's nothing he could do.
But we've seen so many near misses, as you said, throughout this series. There's been so many problems that we just avoided. It is only a matter of time, surely, before something tragic could happen in that pit lane. It's such a confused scene.
It's a very hard thing in any business to coordinate a dozen people to all work exactly the way you want it. And there's always one situation that will throw up an anomaly. And we've seen that time and time again. And these guys now, I think, are going to sit back and say, hang on, we've got to reassess this. And
Johnny, from your point of view, what do you think the drivers make of all this? Because, as you say, you've got to really rely totally on the guy in your team who says go.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, I know it sounds very callous, but the accidents, in terms of the danger side of it, it's going to be broken legs for unfortunate pit crew and things like that. And I think, obviously, in that situation, that's preferable to hitting a concrete wall at 220 plus miles an hour.
Sure.
I think they need better lane discipline the way they came in. I mean, in defence, with Thomas Scheckter coming in, because there were other cars leaving, he was actually coming in very tight angle into his pit box. He wasn't coming in shallow at all, so he might have popped out of nowhere, because he was actually behind a car to the person who was letting Takagi go. So it is difficult, it's going to be chaotic, and they need better lane discipline, really. They're floating around in the pit lane, and they should actually work it.
Is this a particular problem just related to this particular series, or have you seen this happening elsewhere in racing that you've done recently?
Oh, in what we do, I mean, under yellows, everyone dives in and dives straight back out again. But obviously, it's so critical to remain, you know, not lose track position in these kind of situations. That obviously, it's becoming harder and harder. But like Paul was saying, with the brakes, it becomes very, very tough, because their brakes aren't working. When we come in, our brakes are working very well, and I've had to hit the brakes very, very hard a few times to avoid a situation where we have contact.
So, Paul, why is it this particular series does seem to have these problems in the pit lane? Why aren't we seeing so many problems elsewhere?
This is a pressure cooker situation. When you come in, there's seconds, the milliseconds. We have seen the blend line, we have seen the camera shots that people are getting a nose ahead. And that is track position, and that is what we're looking for here. And Johnny's quite right, it's a bit callous, but the guys really do chop to the line on it. Okay,
let's just get your final thoughts on this race that's about to start fairly soon. We'll be crossing to the States. How do you see it going tonight then, Johnny? What do you make of the series overall?
Oh, I think it's going from strength to strength, there's no doubt about it. I mean, obviously, you've seen Champ Car sort of losing out and sort of, I don't know if it's actually going to die out completely. It seems to have hung on in there against all odds, so to speak. But the manufacturers are getting more and more influence now and getting more and more involved with the IRL. And the fact that they've now introduced a couple of road races, and they're going to introduce another two, I think Portland and perhaps St. Petersburg kind of come in as well as road courses. I think it's almost turning into the old sort of good old IndyCar days of old.
OK, boys, thank you there for the moment. We're going to leave it. The start of the race, as I said, is still just a few moments away. We're going to take a short break. See you in a couple of minutes' time. Stay with us.
World Cup qualifying is coming soon on Sky Sports. But before that, a big night of Home Nation Internationals. Kicking off on Wednesday at 5 on Sky Sports 1, it's Wales and Latvia. That's followed by Scotland against Hungary, then highlights of England's clash with Ukraine. And on Sky Sports 2 at 7:30, the Republic of Ireland face Bulgaria. 4 World Cup warm-ups, Wales, Scotland, England, Ireland, starts Wednesday at 5, Sky Sports.
Okay. I'm Dan, and today, for the very first time, I'm going cycling.
We're lost, aren't we?
Are you pushing?
Yeah. Well, what are we going to do now? And this is the very first time I've ever got my benefit out of a bank. Now my benefit's paid by direct payment, I can just go in here and get it.
Direct payment can make getting your money more convenient. Call 0800 107 2000 to change to direct payment today. Direct payment, giving it to you straight.
Did you know that Direct Line could drive down what you're paying for your car insurance by up to 30%? Call or buy online.
Kaleidoscopes. You inspired us to make 30 different color combinations. Thanks. The new Smart 4-4. All the inventiveness of smart, but 4-4.
Hello again, welcome back. Well, the opening ceremony just about to get underway. Before that, time for a quick final thought on this Kentucky International race from Paul Cherry. First of all, your thoughts on the series so far. It's been good stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've got to say, Johnny's quite right. The series has certainly taken over from Champ Car in terms of professionalism and the way it's going. It's got the manufacturers. There's a very competitive atmosphere out there, and that's where the money is.
Yeah. And this particular race, what do you make of this? What are the chances of seeing one of the British boys maybe podium finish?
Well, Dan has shown us a couple of times this season that he can start at the back, and with good team tactics he can be brought well up to the lead lap and right to the front. So I wouldn't rule out Dan for another good podium position here today. But it was good to see Mark Taylor getting into it with his very privateer effort.
OK, boys, thank you very much indeed. Well, the opening ceremonies are just about to get underway. Let's now cross over to the Kentucky International Speedway. And here's Ashley Judd.
Good afternoon, my fellow Kentuckians. I'm so privileged to be with you on this glorious Sunday afternoon to say the most famous words in sport. But on a personal note first, I would like to thank all of you for your continued wonderful support and love that you give my family. And as you know, my family includes the 27 car. So with a special salutation to Team Andretti Green, gentlemen, start your engines!
You just knew she was going to get a turn on Bill Cup.
What?
Buddy Rice, car number 15.
Tony Kanaan, car number 11. Sam Hornish Jr., car number 6.
Adrian Fernandez, car number 5.
Dario Franchitti, car number 27. Helio Castroneves, car number 3. Vitor Meira, car number 17.
Darren Manning, car number 10.
Scott Dixon, car number 1.
Kosuke Matsuda, car number 55.
Dan Weldon, car number 26.
Mark Taylor, car number 13.
Thomas Schechter, car number 4.
Ed Carpenter, car number 52.
AJ Foyt IV, car number 14.
Scott Sharp, car number 8.
Alex Barron, car number 51.
Felipe Giafone, car number 24.
Jacques Lazier, car 20.
Kula Takagi, car number 12.
Brian Herda, number 7.
Townsend Bell, car number 2.
Well, two drivers will go to the back of the pack. There is Townsend Bell. Townsend Bell had the crew change the engine in this car, so he goes to the back of the pack, as does Brian Herda.
Yeah, both of those guys expected to do very well here today, especially Brian Herda. I think he'll move up through the traffic fairly quickly and be amongst the leaders. This is the race distance, 200 laps, 483 kilometers. Buddy Rice, of course, on the pole. Sam Hornish won here last year. The pit window is going to be very important. 43 to 46 laps for fuel. I think you're going to see these guys coming in about lap 40, lap 39 the first time if they don't have a yellow, because they're a little concerned about the tire wear.
Well, there's a look above the head of the pole sitter, Buddy Rice, his 5th pole of the season. He's won 3 times, and he'll start alongside Tony Kanaan, who leads the point standings by 57 markers over Buddy. And a beautiful day here in northern Kentucky. They're looking at the back of Darren Manning's Target Ganassi entry. Manning starts back in the 8th position alongside Vito Mira.
There we have
Sharp. You saw a picture of Scott Sharp there, but that is not Scott.
That's Scott Dixon there.
Scott Sharp, in fact, as long as we're talking about him, is starting his 93rd IRL event. This is actually the 98th event. The only ones he missed was because of a concussion that he had suffered a few years ago when he was racing for A.J. Foyt.
Scott Dixon.
Look at Thomas
Dixon
Scheckter.
Dixon is optimistic today. Thomas Scheckter, he's the Chevrolet who's starting the farthest up, and that's 13th, which is not exactly what they had hoped for.
Should get the green flag this time by. You're right along with Scott Sharp. You saw Tony Kanaan say he was going to try to lead this first lap, but did not get a very good start as Rice got the jump, and here comes Hornish to the inside, and there goes Kanaan.
Wow.
Look at that. Rice just lost 2 positions. Kanaan is going to lead this first lap with Fernandez going in second.
Yeah, it looked like Rice got down on that white line on the bottom of the racetrack and kind of wiggled a little bit, and when he did, Kanaan just flew past him. Fernandez followed him, so Fernandez running second at the end of the first lap. Look at Hurt out there in that black and yellow car. Look how many spots he's gained already. He started dead last, remember.
Picked up about 7 spots, and look at this for the lead. Side by side, that is Fernandez.
Wow, he is
led lap number 1, but is he going to lead lap number 2?
Fernandez on the outside. He got a big run down the back straightaway. No, he can't lead the lap, but he's still side by side.
Well, Fernandez has only led 3 laps this season, and that was at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway back in May. So he's trying to lead for the second time in the second race this year. And Kanaan may be a bit surprised that he's being pressured this hard this early by Fernandez.
Yeah, Fernandez, whatever happened to Buddy Rice down there in turn number 1? Looked like he just wiggled a little bit. And when he did, Fernandez...
He's closing in from that 3rd position.
Yeah, he's fast. He's going to be fast all day long. And you can see he's running very wide on the racetrack. He was running like 3 car widths wide.
Well, Scheckter is falling off the pace a bit in car number 4. He's lost a number of positions.
Ooh, here he
got up on Darren Manning.
Yeah.
And he had to get out of it, and he's not happy at all with Darren Manning.
No, he was very upset right there.
Amazing how mumuch car control you can have with one hand on the steering wheel, one hand gesturing in the air.
Well, he thought that Manning moved up on him as he tried to go around the outside, and he had no choice. He had to get out of the throttle or he was going to end up in the fence.
Now keep in mind, Larry, there are 3 bonus points for leading the most laps, and that can be very crucial in a tight championship battle.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can see Scheckter still running very high. He got very high again coming off of that corner.
Back with Dixon now. And Dixon back in the 14th position. Did not qualify all that well. That is Scheckter out in front of him in 13th.
Yeah, he's trying to follow Scheckter. He and Scheckter running 2 very different lines, though. Scheckter running higher on the racetrack and Dixon running very low.
Now a good battle for 3rd position between Hornish and Rice. There's a look down at Hornish's car on the inside. He won in his debut for Roger Penske. We've documented that has never happened before, and all the great drivers and all the Hall of Fame drivers that Roger Penske has had, no driver had ever won in their debut with the team until Hornish did it at Homestead.
Well, Sam Hornish he likes this racetrack. He's very good at this particular racetrack. As we see Dan Weldon now, he's on the outside of Buddy Rice, as he too he's moved up several positions.
Weldon did not qualify all that well. In fact, Weldon started back in the 11th position. He's moved up to 5th.
Yeah, so he's
around Buddy Rice for 4th. Well, only momentarily.
Having a very good run here early in the going.
But this is what we expected at this racetrack. One of these tracks where they can run 2 and sometimes 3 wide.
Yeah, this is I think Sam Hornish said it best. This is a cross between a handling racetrack and a horsepower racetrack. You got to have both here. You can't have one or the other. And right now we're seeing that the handling is every bit as important as the horsepower.
We have Hondas out in front with Kanaan and Fernandez. We have Hornish in a Toyota. Then we have 4 Hondas in Rice, Weldon, Mira, and Franchitti. Then Castroneves in a Toyota back at 8th. The best Chevy is Carpenter, and the rookie is up in 10th position.
But now you can see Fernandez once again right on the wing of Kanaan trying to get around him. He can catch him, he can get up with him, but he just can't. Once he pulls out in that clean air, gets that blast of air, he just can't quite get around.
You know, Larry, despite the fact that Fernandez, with all of his experience, this has been a learning curve for him coming to the Indy Racing League, not only as a driver, but as a car owner. And we have seen that steady progress throughout the season. He's qualifying better and now obviously racing better.
Right. I think even though he had run a lot of these racetracks before, it's a different car. It's a different car. It's a different engine. It's a different sort of mentality, you might say, when you're running all oval races versus the road courses that he was used to running before.
Of course, it has been announced there will be a couple of road course races next year. And in fact, there's to be a test on what we call Labor Day weekend, the first weekend in September in Texas, or in Florida. And they're saying right now it's probably going to be at Homestead. So it'll be the first time that we've seen these cars in a test on a road course, preparing for 2 road races next season.
Yeah, Buddy Rice continues to fall back slowly but surely. He's running pretty good laps. He's just not quite as fast as the guys up in front of him, that's all.
Well, Franchitti and Weldon, teammates for Andretti Green, they're right together in 5th and 6th position. There's Vito Mira. Mira now got around Castro Neves, so he is up to 7th position and still up in front. There's Michael Andretti, retired driver and car owner of the leader right now. Tony Kanaan continues to lead by about 0.2 of a second over Fernandez. Then it's Sam Hornish, Buddy Rice, and Dan Weldon.
2 kinds of thieves in this world. Ones who steal to enrich their lives, and the ones who steal to define their lives.
Mark Wahlberg, Charlize Theron, Jason Statham, Edward Norton, Donald Sutherland.
He just blew the element of surprise.
Surprised? The Italian Job, now showing on Sky Box Office.
Dad, look. That's the car I want.
Oh, really? How much?
That much.
Cost. How much does it cost?
The Peugeot 206 Zest from just $7,995 with 1 year's free insurance.
Have you lost a grip on your finances? You've got bills coming in from all angles, and no matter how hard you try, you can't keep on top of them. And those debts continue to pile up. You start to feel that you'll never be able to stop the onslaught and save the day. But you don't have to concede defeat.
17.
You may have a low credit rating. You might have a county court judgment, or your employment status. You might be retired. Whatever your position, the loan company may be able to help. All the loan company asks is that you're a homeowner looking to borrow between £3,000 and £100,000. Your loan can be used for any purpose and repaid over a period of time to suit you. There are no interviews and no salesperson will call. So, for that any-purpose homeowner loan, see how the loan company could help you. We won't move the goalposts. Call the loan company now on 0800 916 4141. That's 0800 916 4141.
He's got his act together and doesn't want to relinquish that lead.
Well, but when he looks in the rear view mirror, we should say that side view mirror, all he sees is a green and red object, being that of Fernandez.
Yeah,
third now is Hornish, and Hornish is less than a second back there in 3rd position, so less than a second separating the top 4. Rice is 4th, then it's Mira, his teammate. So Mira started in 7th position. He is up to 5th. Weldon has moved from 11th to 6th. Castro Neves is up in 7th. Then Franchitti, Manning, and Matsuura round out the top 10. Carpenter is 11th. Carpenter the best Chevy so far today. The other Chevys would be a Schechter, who's fallen back to 14th position. Townsend Bell is now in 15th. And Jacques Lazier is back laboring in 19th position.
Yeah, there's the Chevrolet engines still don't have the horsepower that they really need.
Look at this. Oh, he wants that lead. Sorry to interrupt you there, Larry, but boy, he took a look to the outside and looked like he was going to slingshot his way by.
It looks like he gets a good run off the 3 and 4 down the front straightaway. Now, he should take the lead here because he got a great run through 1 and 2. That's the best run we've seen him have. No, you just can't
First
quite pull it
21
off.
circuits, they only count when you lead at the start-finish line. And so the lead did belong to Fernandez for a while, but lap 22 will be led by Kanaan. You know, you talk about the Chevy engine. We got back from the Chevy to the battle there. Chevy has really not committed beyond this season to the Indy Racing League, and really what happens the next couple of races could determine whether they come back next year.
Right, and so far it doesn't look like they've tried to do some things to put more horsepower in their Chevrolets, but so far they just haven't done it. Toyota's new engine, it's got another 7 or 8 horsepower. They are catching them. They're still behind the Hondas, though. As you see Buddy Rice go around
Hornish
there for 3rd place.
So while we've been watching the lead up in front in the battle for that top position, we've had some good racing back in the pack between Rice and Hornish. We've seen some good racing with Franchitti and Manning. Schechter now has moved from 14th back to 11th, so he's picked up 3 positions in the last 2 laps. So whatever the problem was, we have seen him in the past climb from near the back of the pack toward the front.
Well, I think his problem was once he got kind of cut off there, he kind of lost his momentum, got some marbles on the tires, and he lost several positions. But now, once he's kind of got himself gathered back up, he has gained 4 or 5 spots and has passed most of the guys he lost positions to.
We're back here on this 1.5-mile racetrack. Next week we move on to Pikes Peak, which is a 1-mile track, and they'll go 225 circuits there at the Mile High racetrack.
Yeah, and you
don't want to run too fast through the infield there. It's too high up. That's thin air.
That's right. And you can see some of the places where they've ground this racetrack to try to help it smooth it out, especially down here in 1 and 2. If you watch, if we go across them, see those dark places? Those are places where they've gone in there and actually ground off pavement. And that's one of the reasons they were having so much trouble with tires when they first got here, is those ground off places were very sharp and were just wearing out the tires.
Look at Vito Mira. He and Weldon now have caught that battle for 3rd position. Vito Mira up in 5th, and he is tucked in right behind Sam Hornish. As you look back at Sam from the back of the number 15 car, Rice is in 3rd, Hornish is 4th, then it's Mira, then Weldon.
Yeah, Sam tries to go down to the bottom, couldn't make that work, so he moved out a little bit. But, oops, he lost the front end right there, moved up the racetrack as he followed Buddy Rice right in the corner right behind him. When he did, the front end took off on him.
We talked about that several races, Larry, where they don't want to go in the corner tucked in behind somebody because it does take the air off the wings and the car starts to push.
They usually try to go half car width, half car width out or in. So
Castronevitz laboring back in 8th position after starting in 6th. Now we'll keep an eye on the leaders as we near lap 98. This is the 98th Indy Racing League event, and Firestone has a unique challenge. It's a $10,000 prize. Today it goes to the driver that's leading lap 98. Next week it'll be the leader of lap 99 because it'll be the 99th IRL event. So if Kanaan can hang on and lead this thing through lap 98, additional $10,000. But that pales compared to the $1 million of the championship.
Exactly.
He's not concerned about one particular lap.
Exactly. And you can see there Schechter's catching those guys, but now that he's caught him, he's having a little trouble getting around them. But he has moved back into 10th spot.
Well, Mira is still right there on the heels of Hornish as you watch that battle for the lead up in front. Just the gap between 1st and 2nd. Here comes Rice back in 3rd. Hornish is 4th, then Mira. And then you see the Dan Weldon number 26.
Yeah, the first 5 cars really just nose to tail. Any of them could lead at any point, really.
There goes Weldon. He started back in 11th. He's up to 6th, working on Mira for 5th position as they run side by side off the corner, and he takes away that position from Mira. So Mira drops back 1, and Weldon goes to 5th.
All you have to do is
do something with Hornish.
All you have to do is just lift a little bit. You have to just get a little bit loose or have a little bit of a push, and you give up that position. We've seen Mira. He went around Weldon a little earlier when Weldon was up there battling car in front of him. Now then he's lost that spot. So it's very tenuous for anybody up there in those top 6.
We talked about the pit window opening at about 43 laps. We're at 33 laps right now, and I would expect, as you said, Larry, for them to come in around lap 40. If they get a yellow now, they'd come on in and check those tires and make sure the tire wear is okay with this new ground surface here at Kentucky.
New from Sky Sports, a football first. Join me at 8:30 on Saturday night, where you can see the game of the day in full.
Sensational!
There's even more. At 10:15, there'll be extended highlights of every single Saturday game. All this at the push of a button. Your team,
Superb.
your choice, on your channel. Football first on Sky Sports.
Johnny's only human. Just like you, when he's 45, he'll have a 3 in 4 chance of high cholesterol. Get tested, free at Boots.
Sharing the passion. Panasonic, ideas for life.
The new ZR and ZS from MG. Life's too short not to.
And welcome back. Well, while we've been away on that commercial break that our colleagues in America took as well, there has been in fact a yellow, our first yellow of the race at the Kentucky International Speedway. Apparently a debris at turn 3. Paul, can we throw more light on this? Do we know actually where the debris come from?
No, it didn't look like anybody had touched. However, it's not unknown for a little part of the car to fall off or a bit of carbon to delaminate, and they want to be very, very careful.
Yeah. But overall, Johnny, this has been quite an interesting start, a good clean start, and you've got this fascinating situation of Adrian Fernandez sitting on the back of Tony Kanaan for the first 20-odd laps, just sort of shadowing him and almost touching wheels.
Yes, I mean, like the commentator said, he hasn't led that many laps this year, so he's obviously looking to try and get a lead, and hopefully maybe in the pit stops he can get out in front and make a race of it.
And everyone this time hopefully better behaved in the pits, a bit more discipline.
What do you reckon, Paul, looking at that way,
that looked better, didn't it? Less chaotic.
A lot less chaotic, and Brian Barnhart, the IRL chief, did say that if he saw anything like he saw in Michigan, he was going to park a team for an event. So I think the reference there is that you get it right, lads, otherwise you've got a weekend off.
Yeah. So they're all on a caution, they've all behaved themselves. Just a quick word about Dan Weldon, seemed to have made a very good start to the race.
Yeah, he had an excellent start. He's obviously got a good car. His lap times have been consistently the fastest, and he's handily placed now to stay with the leaders. There's no need to go any further forward.
Yeah, and Johnny, I mean, he was down he was 12th overall, wasn't he? I think back on the 6th row. So it's been a very good effort from Dan.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier though, it's not like sort of Formula 1 at Budapest that we saw early on today. It's not so critical where you qualify and you can slipstream up, and he's got a great team behind him, so yeah, all of the Andretti Green cars are going to do well, I should imagine.
And from a driver's perspective, what do you make of this track that we're looking at?
It looks pretty good because it does seem to be able to at least run 2 lines, although it doesn't actually seem to, the high line doesn't seem to be working quite well yet, but as they put more rubber down, I think that might come to them.
And Paul, we understand Darren Manning's move up to 6th, so it's a good showing from him as well.
Yes, he's really got the bit between his teeth. It's coming to the second half of the end of the second half of the season now, and he really wants to reinforce his position to stay with the team for the following year.
And what do you make of conditions that we're seeing? I mean, it looks pretty good, it looks dry, the weather looks pretty settled. The last thing we want to see is any hint of rain coming in, isn't it?
Yeah, I did check earlier, and there doesn't look to be any precipitation, as our cousins call it. But it's a great track, it's in great condition, even though, as they say, they've machined off some of the crowns off the bumps. And that's why we're seeing great racing, as Johnny said, 2 and 3 side by side.
Yeah, so early indications here, really, it does look like it's going to be a decent race with a very good crowd.
Yes, no. Well, this is one of 2 events that are double ticketed, the NASCAR event as well, so these guys get 2 races for the price of 1, hence why we've got a good crowd here. But no, they're seeing IRL at its best.
Excellent. And one other thing, Johnny, I mean, from the crowd's point of view, that they expect to be entertained. I mean, obviously this is part of the American sort of way of life, but they're looking for the best from these drivers at all times, aren't they? Maybe pit stop strategies, I don't know. Do they mean that much to them? They just want to see foot to the floor racing?
They like to see very, very close racing, and to be quite honest, they probably like to see a few people hit the wall.
Yes.
And obviously not get hurt, but at least hit the wall in a bit of drama. But ultimately, the way they think is they want to be able to see everything that's going on in front of them and understand who's leading and where everyone else is. And this is very clear racing on that side of things.
Yeah. And are they a knowledgeable crowd, Paul? I mean, are the American fans, do they particularly know this sport well, or are they sort of learning their way?
I'd have to say, in my experience, they know NASCAR very well, and everything else
they've sort of grown up with that, if you like.
Absolutely. But on this particular series, they're more interested in the drivers, are definitely the heroes. The cars, they can't differentiate between them. It's just a decal on the back of the engine cover. But they like people like Tony, they like people like Elio, who've got great personalities, and they really make the championship.
Okay, well, it looks to me as if we are just about to going back to a green next flag on the next lap, so that's encouraging. And this Indy 300, the Belterra Casino, will be fully underway. So why don't we now cross back then to the Kentucky International Speedway, and our commentators once again, Gary Lee and Larry Rice.
The pace vehicle is off. We're working on lap 40. The green flag will come out as they begin lap 41.
You can see Rice and Hornish laying back a little bit. They're going to try to get a little bit of a run, see if they can use it to their advantage.
Matsura was way high on the racetrack in that 14-degree banking.
Yeah, that wasn't exactly a nose-to-tail restart, as it's supposed to be.
Now you go on board with the Rice back there in third position.
Well, it doesn't look like he got that little extra boost he was looking for. As you can see Herta back there, he's trying to move up as he started, remember, dead last in this field.
He's up in 12th right now after that first pit stop. Herta, of course, the only driver with Andretti Green's team not to win so far this season. However, he won last year driving in relief of Dario Franchitti, who was out after back surgery.
Yeah, Scheckter back in 13th now. He came in 8th spot, went out in 13th, so they had a bit of a miscue in the pit area.
Back from Manning's car in 7th position to Mira's in 8th. It really is incredible they can run this close together at these speeds and run as cleanly as they have this season.
Yeah, we've had very few problems. I'm a little surprised how high on the racetrack. They're all running. Not very many people running right around the very bottom of the racetrack. They're all running in the second and even the third groove on the racetrack. There you see Buddy Rice. He's running in the second groove.
Is that just a case, Larry, of keeping the car freer?
I think that's a case of keeping the car freer. Plus, it might be a place where the racetrack's a little smoother up there. This racetrack does have some bumps, even though it's smoother than it's ever been. I think it's a little smoother up the racetrack a little ways, and so they can run faster. Let's face it, when you don't upset the race car, when your race car's not jumping around, it's a lot faster.
Look back at Barron in the 11th position. That is Scheckter behind him in the yellow car, back up in front. Same two combatants, but the same result lap after lap, and that is that Kanaan continues to lead.
Yeah, Fernandez seems to be just a little bit faster. He can get a run. He gets that little draft, and he sucks up behind him. Then he pulls out and tries to go around him in the corners, and he just can't quite do it. He can run off of the corner a little better and up the side of him down the straightaway, but when he gets entering the corner, he doesn't seem to be able to enter the corner near as well as Kanaan does.
Only had one leader so far, Larry, and that has been Tony Kanaan, so he is right now in a position to gain those 3 bonus points in the championship chase. Good battle for third position. Look at Weldon, who started in 11th.
Yeah, Weldon.
It's a battle for fourth, actually. Rice is third. There's Rice, and there's the battle for fourth. And then it's Vito Mira back there in 6th. And Townsend Bell. Look at Townsend Bell from the back of the pack. He is up to 7th position. And that is in a Chevrolet.
Well, we said that those two guys in the back would be moving up. I quite honestly thought it would be Herta more than Townsend Bell. But what a terrific run for Townsend Bell. He's up to...
Well, obviously he had a great pit stop.
Yep.
Under that yellow, but he's up in 7th position. He was at a number of these drivers live in the Indianapolis area. A number attended the Brickyard 400 last week at the Indy Motor Speedway. Townsend Bell was one of them.
Well, you can see Townsend Bell. He tried to get in under Mira that time going into the corner. couldn't do it. Brian Herta, who started side by side with him in the back row, right behind him. So both those guys have made great progress.
21st and 22nd. They're up to 7th and 8th here on lap 48.
Riding along with Townsend Bell, Vito Mira right in front of him. You can see right there he pulls down about a half car length lower and still has the front end push out on him as it comes off the corner.
So working on lap 49 with Kanaan, Fernandez, Rice, Weldon, and Hornish. And of course, we're here in Kentucky this weekend, but next weekend it's Pikes Peak, and that's a real challenge for the engineers, the engine men, because of the very, very thin atmosphere at Pikes Peak International.
Yeah, the high, you have to get all the fuel regulated and everything just perfectly for that racetrack. But right now, they're just worrying about trying to get the fuel regulated for this place down here in Kentucky. Fernandez, the best race car he's had all year long, still trying to get to the lead. Just absolutely can't do anything with Tony Kanaan. Tony Kanaan really taking up where he started last week when he just he kind of led the whole thing and nobody could get around him until right at the very end.
Well, and the word is that they let Buddy Rice get around, thinking he's going to run out of fuel.
Well, if you listen to Buddy Rice's story about that, he will tell you that he doesn't think that's quite exactly the way it happened. But they've each got their own ideas of exactly how things should work out.
Isn't that truly amazing how that happened?
Yeah, right. But they, you know, Buddy Rice is very outspoken about, you know, thinking that maybe they're a little bit of a bunch of whiners in that group, and that you know, every time they get beat, they've got an excuse for it. And when he says they never just get outrun, well, his opinion is that he's good enough just to outrun them.
Well, right now, Rice has to catch up to Kanaan and Fernandez to have a chance to outrun them, because he's got 0.6 of a second back there in third position.
Now,
Weldon has just gotten around Rice.
Right, he's moved up into third, so he's
Weldon is third, Rice is fourth. Then it's Mira has gotten around Hornish for fifth position. So the teammates for Ray Hall Letterman are now fourth and fifth. And here comes Mira, and there's a good look at Franchitti with his teammate Brian Herta, and they're back there in eighth and ninth position.
Two more teammates battling it out as Herta has moved around, and then Schechter behind those two. So a lot of good racing all the way up through the first 10 or 12 spots.
Well, right now, Lesson is second, separating the first five on the racetrack. And there is a look at Herta in seventh. Franchitti is eighth. Schechter is ninth. Barron is now in 11th. Let's redo that. It's Herta in eighth, Franchitti ninth, and Schechter 10th.
Well, the top 15 cars
on the high side.
Top 15 cars all still running very close to each other, all still right on the same straightaway and running very well. Dixon has fallen way off the pace. He's going back in 18th spot, 7 seconds behind. So obviously he's got some huge problems of some sort, because that's not usually what he does.
Franchitti pulls alongside, tries to take that advantage in the position away from his teammate, but doesn't have the momentum to get by.
Now
we've seen Franchitti win earlier this season.
You get that draft going down the straightaway, you get tuck under him, get that draft, and then try to go around him in the corner. You get out in that air, and it's just very, very difficult to keep doing that.
Franchitti won on the mile track at Milwaukee, the first time the Indy Racing League contested that track in West Allis, Wisconsin, a Milwaukee suburb. Actually, we think probably the oldest racetrack in the country that was really built for car racing.
Thomas Schechter back there in that yellow car, he's trying to catch those guys. He's the Chevrolet just a little bit down on horsepower. They're still probably 25 horsepower short. So it's we'll just see what happens as Fernandez is still working on the outside, trying to get around him.
Now, and here comes Weldon. So all four now nose to tail as they complete lap 59. So working on lap 60 of a 200 lap event. And once again, Tony Kanaan has led from the start. He started outside the front row, got the jump. Actually, the jump at the start went to Rice, but he motored by on the high side and has led every lap since then.
Yeah, Rice, he got a great run, but he was on the bottom of the racetrack. Hornish tried to follow him, but when Rice slipped up a little bit, Hornish got out of the throttle, and both of them got passed very quickly. As we take a look at Dan Weldon.
Weldon's on the high side. That's Rice's car that you're looking from, so Rice regains that third position. They've been back and forth the last 3 or 4 laps here, with Rice leading or holding that position, then giving it up to Weldon and taking it back again. So that's the battle for third. And the Rice teammate Mira is back there in 5th position. But again, tip the hat to Townsend Bell in that Chevy-powered entry. Starting at the back of the pack now, he's up to 6th position.
Yeah, he's done a heck of a job. You're right, Buddy Rice and Dan Weldon have changed that spot about 4 or 5 times here in the last 15 laps, and they're so closely matched, so evenly matched that the slightest little mistake, the slightest little lift on the part of either one of them, and the other one can just go on by them.
Well, you see, you look at some of the stats on Buddy with his 3 wins. It's still remarkable, as you're right along with Townsend Bell back there in the 6th position, that Kanaan has led or has won 3 races, has led the most laps, and has finished every lap this season.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. That's almost unheard of, that you could be that good and that lucky all at the same time. Here you can see Townsend Bell. He's trying to work on Vito Mira, trying to find a way to get around him. Just so far has not been able to do that.
But look at this. The top 6 have closed in now to within a second of the leader.
Yeah, and Thomas Schechter's clear back up to 7th position after that pit stop. Remember, he came back out in like 13th or 14th. And here goes Townsend Bell.
The inside of Mira for a position.
Well,
Chevy may have something to cheer about here this afternoon.
Yeah, we were talking about them.
Franchitti there around his teammate Herta. Franchitti back in 9th and Herta in 10th.
Yeah, we were talking about them not having much luck, as much horsepower, but these guys, that's the one thing about this particular racetrack. It's one thing that Sam Hornish always liked about this racetrack. If you were handling really, really well, it didn't matter if you had as much horsepower as the other guy, because it is a handling track as well as a horsepower track.
And look at Franchitti. Franchitti goes around Hornish. He's up to 8th position.
Yeah, Hornish all of a sudden has lost the handle. Whatever's gone wrong, he's really lost the handle in Hurley.
So Franchitti, that's Franchitti, Hornish, and Herta, and they ride back in 8th, 9th, and 10th positions.
Yeah.
There is Mira, and look at that.
Schechter's
Bell around Mira and pulls up behind Bell. So Bell is now 5th. Schechter is back to 6th.
The 2 Chevrolets all of a sudden making some noise.
But can they work? Is this a racetrack that they can work together?
Well, it looks like they are so far. Yeah, it looks like they're not doing too bad right
together.
now.
Well, they've not really been together in the racetrack. I'm saying now that they are together, can they work together in a draft and close down on the top 4?
Yeah, they can work together somewhat, but this is not like some other forms of racing. You can't really push each other through the traffic.
Well, 68 of 200 laps, and Kanaan continues to show the way.
Now you can get your hands on a Citroen Zara Picasso from just $9,995. This offer is guaranteed until the 30th of September, so don't hang around.
During your lifetime, your eyes will capture over 24 million images. To enable us to see exactly what you're seeing, every Vision Express eye examination is tailor-made. Our optometrists have over 100 different ways to assess how well your eyes are working. Come and see us. Vision Express.
New from Capital One, the UK's lowest flat credit card rate. Unlike some credit cards, the balance transfer rate won't shoot up after 6 months. And there's no sky-high purchase rate. The Capital One No Hassle Platinum Card. The UK's lowest flat rate on both balance transfers and purchases that stays low. What's in your wallet?
Kanan, Fernandez, Rice, Weldon, Bell, and Schechter. Our live coverage continues from Kentucky Speedway, the Kentucky Indy 300. Gary Lee, Larry Rice, and we had last weekend off as far as the Indy Racing League, and now we're in a part of the season where we're having 3 straight races. We'll be at Pikes Peak next week.
Wow, that turn 1 and 2 has always been the roughest part of the race course. Turn 1 and 2 has always been the very rough. And now you can see Dan Weldon, suddenly he is on the inside of Buddy Rice and takes over the third position.
Schechter goes to the high side of Townsend Bell. And look at Thomas Schechter. You know, it's been reported, and I didn't talk to him this weekend, that his house is for sale in Indianapolis. There was much ado made about that new house that he had bought and refurbished. It was in a number of different magazines, featured on television in the Indianapolis area. Now it's for sale, and there's some question as to exactly why he would be trying to sell his palatial home on the north side of Indianapolis.
Maybe he got tired of cleaning the swimming pool. Who knows?
I'm sure he can afford to pay somebody else to clean the swimming pool.
Well, you can see right now that the first 8 cars very, very close on the racetrack. And look at Buddy Rice. He just took a big runner on the outside of Dan Weldon. Looked like he was just going to blow on by, but he didn't quite get that done. Now Vito Mira is pulled up. Now that Townsend, Bell, and Schechter got to running side by side, Vito Mira is pulled up right behind them.
Yeah, that's a good way to lose your advantage. You start running side by side here.
Well, it's always better to follow the guy in front of you and let him break up the air. You get to running side by side, both of you are breaking up the air. It's just not quite as quick.
Watch the hand movement there, the right hand on the gear shift. So even though they're not running road courses, they're still shifting a lot of gears here throughout the season.
Oh yeah, for sure. The first 10 cars are all right there in a huge group.
Look at Castro-Neves back in 16th position.
Yeah, he's really struggled since that last pit stop. Dixon's back in 18th position. Those are the 2 guys that I'm most surprised at are having big trouble, but they're really off the pace.
Well, all 22 cars are on the leader's lap. Now, Takagi is 22nd now, some 20 seconds back. And there goes Vito Mira around Bell. So Mira up to 5th, Bell drops to 6th, Schechter is 7th. And now Schechter pulls to the inside of his teammate and tries to take that position. And does so.
Yeah, he certainly did. And you can see how he was fighting that wheel through turns 1 and 2, and you can see him hitting the bumps a little bit. So, and it is rougher down at the bottom of the racetrack. I think that's the main reason most of these guys are running up the racetrack a little bit farther.
That's Herta down on the inside of Franchitti. Franchitti now in the 8th position. Herta is 9th. As you take a look at the battle with Mira and Schechter. You're on board now with Thomas Schechter, a higher groove off the corner.
He's shifting gears. You can see these guys, they're really working hard because they're shifting gears now at least twice every straightaway. So they've got to do that in order to keep the RPMs right up to maximum horsepower.
So right now,
ooh, look at this, 3 wide for
Thomas
Schechter.
Up there, nose man's land. He likes to ride high. We've seen Thomas Schechter and probably Sam Hornish, the 2 drivers that have used parts of racetracks that most other drivers don't use.
Wow.
There's a look at Anthony Joseph Foyt IV. He is up in 12th position. And, you know, we've talked a lot about this kid. He's very young. He's got it's a tough situation to drive with for your granddad when your granddad's A.J. Foyt. But, you know, he's made progress. He's qualifying a little better. He's keeping his nose clean. He's on the lead lap. And I think that's all Grandpa wants him to do.
Well, that's right. And if you stop and look at some of the guys he's outrunning right now, he's outrunning Matsuri, he's outrunning Castro-Neves, he's outrunning Barron, Dixon. I mean, so he's, you know, he's doing pretty doggone well right at the moment.
Well, Schechter just picked up another position. So Schechter is up to 4th.
Yeah, as it looked like Weldon had some sort of trouble and had to get out of the throttle just momentarily. And boy, when he did, Schechter just smoked on by him like he wasn't even there.
Well, here's Toru Takagi, who had just fallen a lap off the pace. He heads for pit lane, and we've gone 48 laps since our last pit stop. So
won't be long before
we see a debris yellow here shortly.
Well, we're going to see everybody making a green flag pit stop if we don't have a yellow, because they can only run another 3 or 4 laps.
The Pennzoil Panther team is getting ready for a pit stop by Thomas Scheckter as you go on board with Townsend Bell back in the 6th position.
Doesn't seem like the
4th.
Doesn't seem like the Chevrolets get quite as good a gas mileage as the Toyotas and Hondas, and that may be the reason they're going to head for the pits a little bit sooner than the other guys do. The Hondas seem to be getting the best fuel mileage. Usually that's not the case. Usually the engine that makes the most horsepower also uses the most fuel, but that's not the case here this year, doesn't seem like.
We're on lap 87. They've gone 50 laps now since their last pit stop.
Yeah, several of those under the yellow. So here comes Thomas Scheckter.
Scheckter peels off. He was in 4th position, so he's the first of the lead group to peel off. Now let's see if Townsend Bell peels off, because Townsend has the Chevrolet, and he is a teammate of Scheckter. Scheckter may want to make the pit stop when nobody else is out there anyway. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, he was involved in one of those pit altercations.
Yeah, let's see how well they do. As you can see, Townsend Bell's crew's got they're out there. They're ready to come in. Doesn't look like anybody else is even out there yet, which really surprises me.
Waiting for the fuel, as we said. We can change the tires faster than the gravity flow. And Hornish, I'm not sure. He was coming to the pits. Came in too hot, apparently. There's Townsend Bell. They're waiting for him. So a miscue, a very rare miscue.
Wow, I guess.
Sam Hornish.
A very rare miscue. You wouldn't see that happen unless he and Townsend Bell were entering at the same time and had some sort of a run-in. You don't see him. The thing that can happen, though, when you're coming in the pits, if you get on the brakes really hard, you might miss that turn. It might push the front end out, and that might have been what happened to him.
You know, the brakes too hard, the steering goes away anyway.
Exactly, and you're still turning at that point. So if you're on them very hard.
Now there's Barron. Barron was back in the 14th position when he peeled off, and here comes Kanaan. Here comes your leader. He's led 89 circuits.
Well, he doesn't want to take a chance. He's the points leader. He's not going to stay out there and push his luck. He's going to get in there, so he's one of the first guys. Here comes Franchitti.
We've got our second leader of the afternoon. Adrian Fernandez stays out, so he assumes the top spot. Rice stayed out. Weldon stayed out. Mira's up to 4th. And now Weldon and Mira peel off the track and head for pit lane. There is Kanaan.
The tires were changed in about 5 seconds. It took about 9 seconds to put the fuel in. The tires were all done in about 5 seconds.
Him. There's Weldon.
Carpenter right in front of him, leaving the pits.
So Rice will lead a lap as he stays out. Adrian comes off the lead to make his pit stop. Herta now is all the way up to 3rd position.
Mira's back there taking his pit stop too. They had a little bit of an issue there getting the hose out of Weldon's car. Here comes Rice and Fernandez.
And Herta.
Very critical pit stops under the green flag. Yeah, the right front tire changer was on there. They looked like they were doing a little work with the tire pressure on his car.
Herta gets a good stop and has a drag race out of the pits with Buddy Rice.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be drag racing somebody right there, because the grass, that's pretty narrow, and that grass is pretty slick if you get into it.
Looks like Kanaan may reassume the top spot here as we cycle through the second pit stops, the first of the day under green.
Yeah, it looks like he might have the biggest lead of the day as he does that.
Second time he's led. In fact, he's only not led about 4 laps so far.
Yeah, Franchitti had a heck of a pit stop. He came out in 2nd place, Weldon in 3rd. And there goes Townsend Bell. Townsend Bell now moves into 3rd.
Now Townsend Bell's 4th. Kanaan has the big lead.
He just moved into 3rd. He just passed Weldon going into turn 3.
Oh, yeah, I was looking at the lap car. The lap car of Giafoni is back there in that mix. Let's take a look again at Hornish. This is what happened on that pit in for Hornish.
He was just too hot. He just came in too hard, started to go to the outside of Townsend Bell right there.
Equipment down there on the pit lane.
Once he started to the outside, he didn't run into that equipment, so he had to go around it on the outside. I don't know whether there's a penalty for that or not. Evidently not. We haven't seen any. Well,
Kanaan is your leader, back in front again on lap 96 now. So if he leads a couple more laps, he's going to pick up that $10,000 bonus from Firestone. Franchitti is second, then Bell, then Weldon, Rice, Mira. Hornish is in seventh. Herta is eighth. Ninth is Fernandez. So what a lousy pit stop for Adrian Fernandez. He goes from second. Actually was leading when he peeled off, but he's back in ninth position. So Tony Kanaan led the first 89 laps. He peeled off, made his pit stop, where he assumed the lead on lap 93 as they all cycled through, riding with Townsend Bell there. And there's a look at Schechter, who did not do so well in that pit stop. He's back in 10th position.
Yeah, he had a lousy pit stop.
So he and Fernandez were the two big losers on that pit stop.
Yeah, he and Fernandez both lost big time. Franchitti and well, Townsend Bell didn't really gain much. He was already up in the top four, but he maintained where he was at. So you're right. Schechter and Fernandez really lost a lot of ground. Franchitti gained a lot.
Jacques Lazier there in the red number 20 car for Patrick Racing, and that you have to be blatantly honest, Larry, that team has been a major disappointment this season. Patrick Racing has won a lot of races. They've won championships. They came on board this year with Al Jr. Al announced his retirement a couple of months ago. They've had two different drivers in the car since then, and they just have not produced. They've not qualified well. They've not raced well, and that's just not like a Patrick organization.
No, they're kind of like a lost ball in tall weeds. You just can't find them anywhere on the racetrack. You know, they don't. And it's not the driver. Like you said, they've tried 3 different drivers, so it's not the driver's fault. They've obviously got something wrong with the setup of the race cars, because you can't say it's a Chevrolet. Townsend Bell's running in the top 6 right now, and these guys are running a lap down.
Now Townsend Bell is back in 6th position right now. Your leader is Kanaan. Kanaan, Rice, Weldon, Franchitti, Hornish, and Bell. We've just completed that second pit stop, the first of the day under green, and Kanaan had the lead when he peeled off to make his pit stop. That gave the lead to Fernandez, and he peeled off and gave it to Rice. And when they all cycled through, Fernandez was a big leader, or a big loser, I should say. He's back in 10th position right now. So he went from leading the race when he made his pit stop to 10th. And your leader once again is Kanaan.
Yeah, and he's struggling to catch Mira. He's a little ways behind Mira. That's Giafoni right in front of him, a lapped car. So things have spread out under that pit stop. The guys who really had great pit stops and get great entries and exits of the pits have really shined here. And the guys who didn't have such great pit stops are really struggling.
Giafoni won this race a couple of years ago, driving for the Hollywood Mo Nunn team. That is Mira out in front of Giafoni, who now finds himself a lap off the pace.
Yeah.
It's Weldon tucked in behind Rice, and that is the battle for second position. Right now, after that pit stop, Kanaan has an over 3-second margin.
Yeah, he just got a huge break on that pit. He got in and out very well. He pitted before these other guys did. The other thing that happens is you usually run a little faster when you get fresh tires. So if you pit a couple laps before everybody else, you're going to get a couple laps of, maybe a half a
Larry,
second
also there is that speed limit. So when you come in by yourself, you can dictate your speed. If you come in with 15 other guys, you're kind of at their mercy. If it's slow coming in, he can make a faster pit stop.
Exactly.
Because we time the stop. It's not just that, it's the deceleration coming in and the acceleration going out.
Right. It's the entry and exit of the pit. Just every bit as important. But as you can see what happens if, like Sam Hornish, when he came in too hot, went out through the grass, it can cause you big trouble. We saw Scott Dixon back it into the wall on an entry to the pits earlier in the year. So you have to enter very aggressively, very fast, but you've also got to meet that speed limit, or you will be penalized one stop and go pit stop.
Well, Kanaan, we will tell you now that we've completed 106 laps. That Kanaan did lead lap 98, so he picks up the $10,000 lap 98 bonus from Firestone. And next week, the 99th Indy Racing League event will unfold at Pikes Peak, and the leader on the 99th lap will get the $10,000.
Yeah, these guys. Right now, as we take a look at Kim Green, owner of Tony Kanaan's, one of the owners of Tony Kanaan's team, And I'm sure they're doing a little strategizing now as far as fuel. And with a great lead like that, you certainly don't want anything to go wrong.
Well, he had 57 points, the advantage over second position coming in with about a third of the season to go. In fact, after today's event, we'll only have 5 races to go. Pikes Peak next week. In 2 weeks, it's Nazareth. Then Chicago on September 12th, California October 3rd. And we wrap up the season at Texas on October 17th.
And every race that he finishes up front just makes it that much more difficult for anybody to catch him. Thomas Schechter has moved up another position as he's gotten around Townsend Bell. I think he's probably passed more cars on the racetrack today than anybody else, as he's once again from after that pit stop went back to about 10th. Now he's up to 5th.
Well, you know, it's tough to beat a guy when he's picking up those bonus points for leading the most laps, because that's three points a race. Even if you lead 5 races, the most laps, that's a bonus of 15 points right there.
Well, Tony Kanaan has been so strong. If he does not have a DNF the rest of the year, I don't think there's anybody out there that can beat him. I just don't see any way these guys are going to beat him on the racetrack badly enough to take over the championship. He's, it's 10 points for the win, but it's, only 5 points between second and third. So the most you could ever hope for would be about 10, maybe 15 points in one race, maybe 17 points in one race. And with only 5 or 6 to go, it's going to be a very, very difficult thing to do. If he has a DNF, a little bad luck, then that might change things.
Achiever Red Bull entries riding together on the racetrack. Rookie Ed Carpenter there in 13th position. Car 52, his teammate Alex Barron back in 14th position.
Those two have had mixed success this year. They've been run really well a couple of times, but pretty mediocre most of the time. Of course, Eddie Carpenter's fairly new. It's a new deal for him. I think he's done a terrific job for being a rookie, but that whole team, if they want to compete, they're going to have to step it up just a hair.
There's the battle for second going by the number 20 of Jacques Lazier. They're trying to get by Jacques Lazier.
Yeah, there they
knock on the inside, and he stays down the inside as Rice goes by, and here comes Weldon. But Kanaan right now at one point, Tony Kanaan enjoyed a 3.3 second lead. That thing's been chopped in half.
Yeah, those guys running together. It does help to run together. And they've been running nose to tail, and they are catching him a little bit.
And here comes Schechter in 4th position.
Wow,
and
Schechter.
Hornish now back to 5th.
We marveled at how well he ran last week at Michigan, and he's having the same kind of a run here again today. He's never challenged for the lead, but he has challenged for 3rd and 4th and 5th all day long. And he's when he falls back, he just doesn't seem to be that much for
grabs
problem.
The bit in the mouth and takes off again.
Yeah, he just all of a sudden gets that little hair up on the back of his neck and stands on the button.
Now right in the middle of that mix is the number 20 car of Jacques Lazier. That's a lap off the pace now. Jacques a lap off the pace, as is Giafone, Sharp, and Takagi. Right now only 1.4 seconds separating first and second. So as we watch this battle back there in traffic, they are closing in on the leader. Kanaan now leads on lap 116.
And there's Schechter. He has caught 2nd and 3rd right now.
There is a look at Kanaan, and he's pulled on the back of the number 13 Access Motorsports entry.
It's Mark Taylor.
Taylor's back in 18th position.
There's Franchitti. Now he came out in about 3rd spot after that pit stop, and he's fallen back. So obviously car's not exactly to his liking. They'll be making some changes in that car on the next pit stop.
And you ask yourself, how can somebody go so well, make a pit stop, and then not do so well? Well, obviously the tires are different. The tires may not, although they're the same. Everything about them is the same, right. Basically. All the dimensions, all the sizing, they still don't match up the same.
Well, we talk about a bad set of tires. It's not that there's anything wrong with the tires. Firestone works very hard on making good tires. The tires have not been a problem for the drivers all year long. But the stagger in these things, just a very, very slightest bit of stagger difference, a matchup on the left and right rear tires can make a huge difference in how that car handles.
Right, there's an example. They had trouble getting around a lap car, and look at this. Franchitti, or make that Kanaan, had trouble getting around Taylor. Taylor made it very difficult and allowed these other guys to close in with about a half second.
Yeah, that's not going to endear him to
Mark Taylor. No, not at all. He should have gotten out of the way. The spotter should have said let him go. But look at this. Here's Rice. Rice now a half second behind. There's Weldon. And at one time, when he was trying to get around Taylor's car, the other cars were about 3.5 miles an hour faster per lap.
Yeah.
So right now, Kanaan continues to lead on 119 laps of 200.
Super September on Sky Sports. A feast of one-day cricket.
How good is this?
3 games between England and India.
And then the Champions Trophy.
12 nations, 15 live matches.
Straight down the ground, that's a fabulous shot.
Rugby's back, a new Premiership season.
Playoff time in Super League.
A new season of NFL.
And the big one.
Golf's ultimate team challenge.
The Ryder Cup.
Super September on Sky Sports.
Don't miss it.
Dad, look. That's the car I want.
Oh, really? How much?
That much.
Cost. How much does it cost?
The Peugeot 206 Zest from just $7,995 with 1 year's free insurance.
Only one breakdown company can make this promise to its personal members. To fix your car by the road or get you another one on us. To make sure you're not left stranded, join the AA now from just £35. Call 0800 444 999 or buy online.
Sir Steve Redgrave for Admiral Car Insurance.
Building a new team, I think it does take quite a long while to have the total trust in every conditions, in every situation. And if the trust isn't there of your other colleagues putting the same commitment in, is you're not going to get the results out of it. People say that a friendly crew is a slow crew. I don't really believe that's so. But the end of the thing is that you've got to be working towards the same goal in the same sort of ways.
Steve Redgrave trusts his car insurance to Admiral.
And Scheckter closes in on the leader, and here comes Hornish around Rice for third position, and there goes Scheckter to the high side. Is this going to be the first time for that Chevy to lead here?
Wow.
On lap 126.
Panther Racing has always had a great setup for here. They've always had Sam Hornish as one of the best guys ever to run Texas, and it looks like they're doing exactly the same for Thomas Scheckter's. Getting into the corner, he falls back a little bit, but boy, so far he has seemed to be dynamite here, especially after this last pit stop.
All right, who's going to lead that lap? Kanaan, I guess, led that lap. So 126 laps now complete.
Wow. Thomas Scheckter just stays on that high side.
Well, he had that lead there momentarily, but it only counts there at the start-finish line.
You can see Kanaan, he's doing the same thing he's done all year long. Steady, right in the same place. If you want to go around me, do it the hard way.
On the outside.
What he's made everybody do.
Hornish had a huge wiggle there, but was able to hang on. This is the team that won from the pole position here last season. And again, it gets a runoff turn 2 down the backstretch, gets the nose out, but can't pull on around to make the clean pass.
I think he's going to lead this lap. I believe he got through 3 and 4 just good enough. To lead that lap.
So lap 128 is led by Scheckter.
Here comes Weldon too.
And Scheckter becomes the 4th different leader this afternoon. And Weldon goes to 2nd position, and Kanaan falls all the way to 3rd. Now let's watch. This is a replay. Watch the Marlboro car. Watch this big. Whoa! Hang on there, Sam.
He was right
some
behind
dirty air.
Yeah, he got in that dirty air, and it took the wind off the front wing, and it started up there.
Think that got his attention?
That was a terrific job just to save that race car.
That was a good save.
You can't believe how tough that would be to do.
Back up in front, it is Scheckter, who took the lead on lap 128. There's Weldon, and there's a battle for 3rd position as Rice is trying to get around Kanaan.
Well, this is the first time.
He's just trying to hang on now to his next pit stop. He's gone 43 laps. He was the first to pit the last time of the leaders.
Well, this is the first time in 2 races that we've seen Kanaan even look like anybody was fast enough to go around him. Never looked, I mean, up to this point, nobody had anything for him. They tried him lap after lap after lap. And now suddenly, after Scheckter finally made his pass, a couple of other guys have been able to do the same thing. So obviously not going quite as well as he has for the last 120 laps or so.
This is the third time that Scheckter has led this season. He led 22 laps at Homestead, led only 1 lap at Phoenix, and really has not been a factor up in front since then. So Scheckter and the Pennzoil Panther team that has won 2 IRL championships out in front with Chevrolet power. Weldon second, Rice is third, Kanaan is fourth, Bell is now fifth. So 2 Chevys in the top 5. Right. And here it comes. He's going to get freight trained on the high side.
Yeah, it looks like Weldon and Rice working together are going to be able to get around him.
Well, maybe not.
Oh boy, 3 abreast.
Who's going to lead it?
Well,
still give it to Scheckter. Look at that 3 wide.
Oh, Buddy Rice.
Buddy almost got the fence.
Yeah.
They were going 3 wide. And look at Townsend Bell up to 3rd position.
When Buddy Rice headed for the fence, Townsend Bell headed for 3rd place and got it.
Well, now they're reporting that Scheckter may be very close on fuel. Scheckter has gone 46 laps since his pit stop.
Chevrolets just don't get that great of fuel mileage. He's going to have to come in. We thought 46 was going to be the max, and he's...
Oh, hang on. What happened there?
Wow.
Man, there's action all over this racetrack.
He's had a little bit of trouble and almost took
Rice with him. Well, the Pennzoil Panther team is getting ready. They are setting the pit up for his pit stop. Man, there's action all over this racetrack.
Now, they screwed up the last time, and he ran out of fuel. They certainly don't want to mess up like that again. Buddy Rice is having a heck of a time back there. Once he got up wide, he's been up there 2 or 3 times, and he's struggling. He's fallen all the way back to 8th spot.
Trying to get around his teammate Mira, and that is Franchitti right in front of him. We can tell you that Townsend Bell got passed by Kanaan, so Kanaan has moved to 3rd position. This is the battle up in front as they work on lap 137.
Well, I'm shocked that Scheckter hasn't been in the pit yet. I'm just absolutely shocked.
Now watch this.
Ooh, looked like Hornish was had trouble.
They had 2 guys stacked up side by side going under Hornish. They were 4 wide at one point.
Yep. Ooh, boy, he's awful fast coming into the pits.
Well, Weldon will take the lead now. So Weldon leads for the first time this afternoon, a 5th leader. We've had 1 yellow. That was for Debris for 6 laps, back on lap 34 through lap 40. Scheckter is out. He'll go a lap down.
Yeah, he will. He absolutely will go a lap down.
Well, what happened there? There's some fuel that was spilled. That's it for him. That's it. And
he's on fire.
Furious.
He's on fire. He's got to get out of there. He's on fire. It's hot.
Scheckter falls and rolls.
Yeah, you can see.
Apparently he's
too hot. Oh man, I saw those guys throwing stuff in the pit area. I didn't know what it was, but obviously they sent him out before they had the fuel hose disconnected and ended another, what could have been a good day for Thomas Scheckter. What a terrible break.
Well, he felt the heat. He may not have been on fire, but he felt the heat.
He could feel the heat, and he stopped, got the heck out of that thing. And I'm sure they were yelling at him as soon as he left. We'll probably get a replay of that, and we'll be able to see whether they sent him out too soon or whether or what happened. But probably another, I'm only guessing, another mistake by one of the crew members that sent him out too soon. He was down off of the jacks in plenty of time, and what happens a lot of times is that guy on the right front will see them jerk the hose, and he'll motion for them to go, and that hose will get stuck, and it won't come out on his first time. They have to be careful, make sure that that hose is completely off of there. And
we thought we saw some flames under the car, that something was burning under the car, and of course they shot some extinguisher up there. They're using, I can't see what they're shooting out of that extinguisher right now.
Yeah, they're just trying to get the fuel hose. It's nobody's in danger. Thomas Scheckter got a little bit hot in there, obviously, and their medics are looking at him. It looks to be okay. Now let's see if we can see exactly what happened. Everything seems to be routine. Watch the guy who's on the right front, the guy on the far left of your screen.
Right there's a signal.
See if he motions him before the hose is out. No, he didn't motion. Thomas took off.
Took off. Yeah.
He didn't. That was a mistake on Thomas Schechter's part.
Now let's watch again. Now watch the car move away. They're not finished.
No.
There's the fuel spilling out.
Yeah.
And perhaps the methanol there, you can see the flame right there. The methanol itself will burn without a flame.
Right. You can't see it very well, but there he's going to stop and get out of that thing because he can feel the flames at this point. But
they may have been yelling at him on the radio too,
yeah,
to stop and climb out and get away from it.
Yeah. Well,
let's watch again. Now there's no signal from the right front.
It doesn't appear that the guy told him to leave.
To the left of your screen, his hand's still out in front of him, and Thomas takes off. See?
Yeah. That was purely. And see the danger he puts the crew members in.
Because they're getting doused with methanol.
Yeah, they're all got.
And apparently there's still a fire under the engine cowling. The pits are now open, and we'll have our third pit stop, the second of the afternoon under yellow. The first was for debris. This is only the second yellow of the afternoon. Weldon is your leader on the as they enter the pits. Kanaan second, Rice was third, then Herta.
Wow, that was a bad way to end your day. Something like that. That's how it's supposed to work. That looked.
Yeah, we'll run over somebody else's air hose.
Oh, there's a tire out there. Everybody's trying to miss. But that crewman ran out there and finally thought better of it. He didn't want to get run over, just try to get that thing back.
Well, we thought that we saw somebody run over a hose. Weldon may have run over one of Kanaan's hoses. What are they showing now as they scramble out of the pit area under this second yellow?
Well, we'll see what happened. There's some reports coming in that there were some hoses in the pit area and the guys didn't miss them. So we'll see. We'll get it all straightened out. It looks like Rice was out of the pit area first. Weldon was second. Rankitti, another great pit stop as he came out in third.
They're showing Kanaan out in front.
Well, regardless of...
There's Kanaan. There's Weldon. Did he hit it? Did he? Yeah, maybe he didn't.
I don't know whether he did or not, but Weldon almost got that hose.
Castronevitz, long pit stop. Engine is dead.
Looks like a gearbox problem of some sort as they're back there working on that gearbox. So this is not a good thing for him.
Let's watch that hose situation from another angle. Let's see if he does actually get over the hose. Nope.
I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't think he ever hit it.
Just did miss, but that crew guy got
he got the heck out of there. He didn't want to. Yeah, that's a penalty if you run over the hose. So I don't think he hit it though.
144 laps of 200 now complete. And we remain under the yellow behind the pace vehicle with Kanaan out in front of a Rice. Weldon. Rankitti will be fourth on this restart as you see the number 4 being taken back to the paddock area on the hook. So once again, it is Kanaan under yellow leading Rice, Weldon, Dario Franchitti, and Vito Mira.
Spy's long weekend. Every mission needs a hero.
Thanks. Johnny English. Cody Banks. 009.5.
And every hero, a car.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Some cool gadgets.
Click it twice.
A beautiful lady.
I'm a whole lot of woman.
And one mean megalomaniac.
Lower the globe!
Spy's long weekend. This weekend, Sky Movies.
Hi, Trev. Yep. Nah.
Foster's especially brewed to taste better cold. So let's keep it that way.
Nice one, Trev.
Yeah.
Kids should be able to make the most of the internet safely. That's why we chose AOL 9. Its enhanced parental controls, together with your supervision, make it safer. And if you want to block junk emails, its improved spam filter will help you. If you want the same for your family, you should call now on 0800 331 6000, because nothing should stop them dreaming.
Mitsubishi Grandis. You won't want to drive anything else.
And welcome back. So, big drama at the three-quarters stage in this Kentucky International Speedway race. It really has been dramatic stuff too. Thomas Scheckter, as we saw just a moment ago, so nearly involved in a really nasty incident. Paul Cherry, you were watching this along with Johnny Molam and I here in the studio. What did you make of this?
Well, sadly, I'm a great defender of Thomas. He's a brilliant guy and he's had awful luck this year, but this is just his own making, totally his own making, and that had all the ingredients to be much more dangerous than it ultimately was.
Well, it's extraordinary stuff because, Johnny, I mean, we were saying at the top of the show there's a horrible incident waiting to happen, and this so nearly was that incident.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, initially I think we all felt sorry for Thomas because we thought he'd been waved out again when he was still plugged into his fuel rig, but like Paul says, when you see the replays, obviously his mistake, and he'll have an awful lot of apologising to his crew because he basically just doused them in methanol there, which is not pleasant and could have actually erupted into a huge catastrophe. So
yeah,
really very, very lucky. Obviously looks like he's either on fire or trying to make sure he puts any possible fire out there as he gets out of the car. But as you can see here, the front left on his front right is saying stop, stop, and it starts moving forward, and he's still got his hand out and he's just gone. So at no point was he waved out, at no point.
OK, well, we're going back to live pictures now, but just to continue that theme, Paul, that could have been worse. I mean, obviously, I suspect Thomas is pretty shaken up by it, but do you think there's going to be some big repercussions here? The team going to be in trouble? Is he going to be in trouble?
Well, as we said at the top of the show, Brian Barnard has said that if there's any more shenanigans in the pit lane, he's going to come down very hard. How he views this will be interesting, because he's either got to do what he said he's going to do, or he's got to back off.
Yeah, and Johnny, I know you feel that maybe that team could well be punished by sitting the next race out.
It'd be unfortunate because Thomas is a great bloke. I agree with Paul entirely, and it would be a shame for that to happen. But you've got to stick by what you say you're going to do. And if you're going to be tough and you're going to clean up what's happening in the pit stops, they've got to dish out the penalties they say they're going to do.
Yeah, and suddenly it's race on, isn't it, Paul? This race has suddenly come to life.
Yes, it was certainly shaken up with Thomas and Townsend Bell getting themselves to the front, and Tony ratcheted back. So I think the last quarter of this event is going to be one to avidly watch.
So it's hang on to your hats from here on in, is it? Right, let's see if we can now cross back, join the action live. They're under green, as we can see. Once again, commentary from Gary Lee and Larry Rice.
As far as who's going to drive to victory lane, it's still very much up in the air.
Right now, it could be any one of about
6 or 8 guys.
6 or 8 guys is about right. Top 6 guys have all been very competitive all day long.
And how about Eddie Carpenter? The rookie is in 7th position. That's the best Chevrolet so far.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good run all day long. He's in that blue car back there in 6th spot.
Oh, Rice and Kanaan have both won 3 races this season. And back there in 3rd position is Weldon. He's won twice. So there's 8.
Oh, look at Fernandez. He goes 3 wide, goes way wide on the outside, and just blew by all of them.
And Fernandez is going to take the lead and lead for the 2nd time this afternoon.
My gosh, I don't know what the heck happened there all of a sudden, but Buddy Rice, once he got passed by 1, he got passed by 2 more. But Fernandez went way wide down to 3 and 4 and just smoked by all those guys.
Fernandez led for 1 lap back on lap 90 as Kanaan peeled off to make his pit stop. Fernandez came to the pits and had a lousy pit stop, came back in 10th position. But man, he's been working his way back up through traffic, and look at him now. Weldon's in second, Kanaan is third, and Rice has dropped from first to fourth.
And he went from first to fourth in like less than half a corner, it seemed like.
And Mira moves up to challenge in fifth position. It's another stacked up on lap 154 of a 200-lap event. There's a look at Rice. As he looks down, off to his left is the Kanaan number 11, the Big Gulp 711 car.
Of course, those two guys have been running side by side, battling for position. It seems like
usually it's the top spot.
Yeah, for in almost every lap of the last two races they've been doing this. But right now, you're right, they're battling for third and fourth instead of first and second.
Al Fernandez enjoying just a whisker of a lead over Weldon, and it's Kanaan, Rice, Mira. So Fernandez owns his own team. He's out in front. Then we have two drivers for Andretti Green in second and third. And then two drivers for Rahal Letterman in fourth and fifth. And Rice and Mira. Carpenter is sixth. Franchitti is seventh. Matsura is eighth. Then Dixon and Manning, the Ganassi drivers, are ninth and 10th.
Yeah, and Carpenter hanging right with that lead group of cars. Really doing a good job back there in sixth spot.
Right now, Eddie is only 0.8 of a second behind the leader. So 0.8 of a second separating the top six here on this racetrack.
And you can see those top four. Buddy Rice running in fourth.
Aaron Manning was the fastest driver the last lap, and he's back in 10th position.
Yeah, a lot of that, if you get that toe, that little extra aerodynamic toe, you can get that run and get a little speed. The trick is to get it enough to get around the cars in front of you.
On lap 158. Now the question is, without a yellow, can they go the distance on fuel? Well, we're not going to find that out because Townsend Bell just kissed the wall, and the yellow comes out on lap 158.
Yep. He might have either hit the wall or had a flat right rear tire, probably both at this point.
Well, he's going to have a flat right rear.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like he got very high coming off of turn number 2 and got into the wall. So Panther Racing within the last 15 laps has had undoubtedly the worst luck of any team here.
Well, he gets it off the racetrack and is trying to drive it back to the pit area. He may get it back to the pits.
Yeah, I think he can.
Let's take a look again, Larry.
Just looks like he got up in the marbles, got up just a little bit too far. You can see where the black rubber is and where it gets real light. Once you get in that real light, right there you can see it, where the black rubber is and then where it's lighter. Once you get into that light stuff, there's usually marbles in there, and the car will just take off on you. And it just took off on him, and he broadsided the wall, and that's going to end his day.
Well, and with the yellow, this should allow them to go the distance on their fuel. There's a look at Rice back in the fourth position now. So Fernandez continues to lead on the restart. It will be Fernandez, Weldon, Kanaan, Rice, Mira, Carpenter in sixth, and then Franchitti.
Something's wrong with Hornich's car, because even though he was a lap down, he's also lost another 4 or 5 spots after that green flag came out. So there must be some sort of a problem with his car, because he's fallen way back on the grid.
160 laps about to be completed under yellow, the third caution of the afternoon. The first was for debris on lap 34. Then the Schechter fire in the pit area as he was leaving after his pit stop on lap 140. And now the Townsend Bell crash with the yellow flag out starting on lap 158. So we're under yellow with Fernandez leading. Fernandez, Weldon, Kanaan, Rice, and Mira. And once again, they're all bunched up now, Larry. So how often have we said it's anybody's race? Not that often this season with Kanaan out in front, but right now, who can tell?
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. I mean, the green flag is going to come back out with about 35 laps to go. And any one of those top 5, maybe 6 drivers has a chance to win this race. They've all three been very consistent. Fernandez, Weldon, Kanan, Rice, Mira, all 5 of those guys have been consistently running speeds fast enough to lead the race. All of them have been up front now, except Mira. He's not led yet today, but Carpenter running 6th. All of a sudden, he's had some very fast laps in this race.
This could be Carpenter's best finish of the season. He was 11th at Milwaukee and finished 12th at the season opener at Homestead, so he could be well on his way to his best finish of the season.
Yeah.
All he has to do is keep his nose clean.
Yeah, Dixon's still having he's still struggling big time. He's back in 9th spot, not really running with the leaders all day long.
So, as we're racing under yellow, let's take the moment to discuss what we just saw. Townsend Bell coming into contact with the wall. Interesting contact was made. Johnny, what did you make of this? Did you not, that he actually hit the wall and the suspension then collapsed, whereas Paul possibly thought the suspension was at fault first of all?
I personally think, I'm not saying that suspension might have bent or something like that, but the actual collapse
on
definitely
the impact
happened.
after he hit the wall, as he hit the wall.
I don't think it actually broke before he hit the wall completely. It might have done something like bend or something like that, or begin to let go, that caused him to hit the wall. But you can actually see him, it almost looks like the right front grazes almost side on right and rear at the same time. And then as he comes away from the wall, suddenly at some point you see the right rear drop down, and then he starts having to put the steering input in, but after the impact he's actually got the steering wheel dead straight. So I think the actual full breakage happened afterwards. If you watch here,
Paul, what did you think?
Well, certainly looking at it from this angle, he just literally ran out of road, and I think Johnny's exactly right. If we could see the angle from the front, then we'd see obviously if that rear wheel had kicked up first, but certainly from the IRL's information here, he kissed the wall, so we'll put it down to driver error.
He's had an interesting race, hasn't he, to put it mildly, because he was right at the back and worked his way through, and suddenly was a key player.
Very much so. I mean, his teammate Thomas Schechter, the Panther cars, they were very quick in this race, as they were in Michigan. And as we can see here, everybody's taking the advantage, because this will be the last pit stop.
As you predicted they would.
Townsend's had a stunking race, as Thomas did, but unfortunately a mistake from both drivers has put both of them out.
And it's strange, isn't it, how things can change, Johnny, because within a few laps of each other, both drivers out and gone. Their hopes are over for another race.
Absolutely, and I mean with Thomas especially, I mean he was leading at the time, and that's one of the reasons why he obviously tried to get out of the pits so quickly, because he knew that was critical for him to win this race.
So from here on in, where's your money?
I'm going to go for Danny Weldon, because he's a mate.
Oh, fair enough, good reason. Paul, what about you?
I would have to say, not to take the safe bet, but I would actually agree with Johnny, because Dan has done stonking laps all the way through the race, and the team have just ratcheted him to the front with strategy.
Okay, so we're all rooting then for Dan Weldon here in the studio. They're about to go green on this next lap. Let's now cross back once again and rejoin Larry Rice and Gary Lee.
Thomas Schechter.
Chevrolet was running so great in your car. Take us with what happened in your perspective.
Well, I just came in and we had a problem with the clutch, and as soon as they dropped the car, I engaged in it first. The car started slipping. Eventually they let me go and took some of the fuel hose with me, and just half the car was on fire and had trouble breathing, and just jumped out and made sure I was on fire. You never know.
Was the car, or are you ever inflamed, or any Gulf flames on there?
Well, I went out and all of a sudden I started breathing in these heavy fumes, and I felt myself wet. Obviously, it was probably full of methanol, so I wasn't taking a chance. I just made sure I stopped the car, jumped out, and made sure that I was not on fire.
The good news is you're okay, but not the best day for you.
Well, we'll keep at it. Pennzoil and Chevrolet have done some hard work. Hopefully we'll come back next week with something a little bit better.
Thank you, Thomas. Back up to you, Paul.
Now, not only was he wet in the cockpit, but he had some of the crew members doused with the methanol.
Well, and he said the clutch was slipping. You could hear what happens is once they drop the car down, they start revving the engine, and if the clutch actually was engaging while he had it, pushed in, then he really didn't have a lot of control over whether that thing took off or not. But it appeared like it might have slipped forward a little bit, and then all of a sudden he let go on the clutch and took off. So tough break though, either way.
But again, fortunate he was not burned and the crew members were not burned. We go back to racing here.
Well, this is going to be a very important first corner if Fernandez can hang on. Look at Franchitti down there. He's passing guys down inside the white line.
That was going by Carpenter on the inside.
Fernandez did manage to hang on.
There goes Herta inside Scott Sharp. Scott Sharp back in the 17th position.
Yeah, he's a lap down.
93rd, his 93rd.
He's really
bent. There's been a lot of talk that Kelly Racing will not come back next season. Now, they said they had a sponsor through the end of next season, but there were some hot rumors here that they would not really even discuss that Kelly Racing would not be back for the 2005 season.
Yeah, and that would be a tough break. Tom Kelly's one of the first guys with the IRL. He's been a big supporter. He's done very well, but
one time in a 2-car stable.
Yeah. You see, Tony Kanan's moved back up into second place, so he's on the move. Dan Weldon in third, and there's fourth, Buddy Rice.
Vito Mira is fifth. Sixth is Matsura. I haven't really called his name today, but he's having a good solid ride, and he's up to fifth position. The teammates are kind of controlling the flavor of this show right now. Fernandez and his teammate Matsura, they're in first and sixth. Kanan and Weldon are in second and third. Rice and Mira are teammates, and they're in fourth and fifth.
Well, you can see that the first 6, 7 cars very close, right nose to tail. You don't get a chance to really pull away from anybody in this series very often.
And we'll be on a smaller racetrack next week at Pikes Peak.
There goes Franchitti. He just went around Matsura on the outside. It appears like the best place to pass is to go wide in turns 1 and 2. There you see
Franchitti way below the white line, stacked up 4 wide on that restart.
Yeah, almost 5 wide there for just a second, but Franchitti saw the opening. He had to throttle down, and he wasn't going to lift.
That was a lap car that he was going around too.
Yeah.
That was the number 24 Giafone, who's a lap off the pace. Right now we have 13 cars on the lead lap, and Castro Neves is the last car on the lead lap in 13th position. How often do you hear that?
Yeah, really.
Same sentence.
Really, that's right.
That's not having a good day, and Harnish is not having a very good day. Harnish is a lap off the pace, back in 17th position. So not a good day for Penske Racing.
Rice is challenging for second right now.
Riding along with Scott Dixon. Dixon back in 8th position. He's 1.2 seconds back. And look at this battle
Rice,
up in front.
Yeah, Rice took the position. Now Weldon's going back after
going after his teammate.
So
that's a good battle for third position, but right now Rice is up to second, and he set sail for Fernandez on lap 173. So it's still a race among about 6 different guys, but Fernandez leads Rice and Weldon.
New from Sky Sports, a football first. Join me at 8:30 on Saturday night, where you can see the game of the day in full.
Sensational!
There's even more. At 10:15, there'll be extended highlights of every single Saturday game. All this at the push of a button. Your team,
Superb!
your choice,
Wow!
on your channel. Football first on Sky Sports.
Have you lost a grip on your finances? You've got bills coming in from all angles, and no matter how hard you try, you can't keep on top of them. And those debts continue to pile up. You start to feel that you'll never be able to stop the onslaught and save the day. But you don't have to concede defeat.
17.
You may have a low credit rating. You might have a county court judgment, or your employment status. You might be retired. Whatever your position, the loan company may be able to help. All the loan company asks is that you're a homeowner looking to borrow between £3,000 and £100,000. Your loan can be used for any purpose and repaid over a period of time to suit you. There are no interviews and no salesperson will call. So, for that any-purpose homeowner loan, see how the loan company could help you. We won't move the goalposts. Call the loan company now on 0800 916 4141. That's 0800 916 4141.
Now, Churchill, Janice at number 4 says you can save me around £60 on my home insurance.
Oh, yes.
And can I get a no-claim discount as well?
Yes.
Do I get new for old?
Oh, yes.
So I can trade in my cack-handed husband then?
Sorry, no.
Oh, but you could save me money on my home insurance.
Oh, yes.
For easy, no-fuss home insurance, give the dog a phone now on 0800 032 4841 or buy online and you could save around £60.
The World Golf Championships, the last big event before the Ryder Cup, to see the big guns from Europe and America go head-to-head. The NEC Invitational, in association with Stan James, starts Thursday, 8 p.m. Sky Sports 2.
Live coverage coming to you from Sparta, Kentucky. Kentucky Speedway, Gary Lee, Larry Rice. After having a weekend off last weekend, we have 3 straight weekends of racing for you. Next week, of course, it's Pikes Peak. But right now, we have something to settle here in the northern part of the Bluegrass State.
Buddy Rice has tried just about everything. He's tried the bottom side. He's tried the top side. So far, Fernandez has been fast enough to hold him off. Buddy Rice appears to be just a shade faster, but he just cannot. Oh, Fernandez went very low down in 1 and 2 that time. Usually, that gives the guy on the outside a bit of an advantage.
And now Weldon has gotten around Kanaan. Weldon up in 3rd position. The top 3 now are nose to tail on lap 180. We'll have 20 laps to go at the conclusion of this circuit. 20 laps to go.
Matsura is looking very strong right now. So he's right behind Kanaan. This is the best we've seen him run all day long.
Look at Weldon. Weldon has won twice this season. Rice has won 3 times. Fernandez has yet to taste the victory lane. And look at Matsura.
Yeah, this is definitely, after that last pit stop, he's much stronger than he has been all race long, as he's really coming up and challenging Tony Kanaan.
Well, Matsura was actually faster by about a mile per hour than last circuit. Look at him stacked up now, single file down the back straightaway, and there goes Kanaan. He breaks to the inside, trying to get the run on his teammate, and here comes Matsura on the high side.
Yeah, trying to make something happen so he doesn't lose another spot.
He tries to tuck back in there, and Franchitti says, no, you're not going to have that spot. You stay up there, I'll stay down here.
Yeah, Matsura tried to pull down a little bit and almost collided with Franchitti.
Franchitti held the line. Franchitti back there in the 6th position. So right now, the top 6 drivers are separated by just under 0.6 of a second.
And look at Matsura. That time he beat Kanaan to the start-finish line. Weldon, once again, 3 cars wide, trying to make the pass. And there goes Matsura.
So Matsura gets around Kanaan.
Kanaan was not happy.
Here comes Franchitti. But Franchitti's going to run on Kanaan.
Yeah, Kanaan had to actually get out of the throttle because Matsura pulled down in front of him so close that he got out of the throttle, and when he did, Franchitti got a run on him, went around him.
Yeah, and here comes Mira. Mira and Dixon. Dixon now in 7th position.
So there's battles every place up in the top 10 spots. Everybody so close in speed that just about anything can happen at any time.
Now 16 laps to go, and you can see this 60,000 plus fan base still in their seats, but they'll be standing here momentarily. We're getting a report now that there may be a problem with number 15 in the fuel department. We're not sure exactly what that transmission means on the radio that we picked up. Whether he's short on fuel, or the fuel pickup problem.
Of course, that's Buddy Rice, so it'll be interesting to see as we get near the end of the race if he does, you can turn the richness up or down, but right now, if you want to win this race, you better have that thing on full horsepower and full rich so that you can keep up with the guys in front of you. So I'm not sure what that means. It almost has to mean that they think they might not have enough fuel.
Now let me ask this, Larry. You know that the teams can monitor other teams' radio transmission. Is that something to throw somebody else off?
Well, who knows? I mean, the last time Kanaan let him go because he thought he had a fuel problem, or so he says, and obviously didn't have a fuel problem, so who knows? I can tell you this, I don't think any of them are going to let off the throttle. I think they're going to all go for it. Mira got very wide that time and lost the spot.
Well, here you are, 13 laps to go, and right now there is 1 second separating 1st to 7th. Scott Dixon, your defending series champion, is in 7th position. He is 1 second behind the leader.
And Kanon's back there in 5th, trying to hold off his teammate Dario Franchitti, and he doesn't do it. Franchitti got a good run on him. Looks like he might take over that spot. Oh, he's got some.
Here comes Dixon too.
Yeah. Kanon's car is not handling as good right now as it has all day. He's obviously he can't catch back up with these guys. He's back just a little ways. He's about 0.3 of a second behind him, and he just can't catch him. That's all.
Well, Adrian still out in front. Then it's Rice. Then it's Weldon. And of course, Kanon can really not stand to lose any more positions because he loses points.
Well, Matsura is right behind Weldon, so Matsura is really one of the top 4 guys really putting on a lot of pressure right now.
Weldon goes to the high side of Rice, and Matsura looked like he went to nose down under Weldon.
Well, Fernandez certainly looks like he's got things in control.
9 laps to go.
Nobody's really challenged him here for the last 5 or 6 laps.
Matsura, the leading rookie for the Bombardier $50,000 bonus for the leading rookie of the series. Now he's back in 4th position, having his best ride of the season.
Buddy Rice, for points reasons, not only to win the race, but he'd love to get that first point.
Now race control is saying Rice might have fuel problems in 2 laps. He's gone 50 laps since his last pit stop, as have all the leaders. And here comes Matsura to the inside of Weldon. There will be 7 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line.
Well, that means they have 5 laps to go.
Short.
Yeah, 5 laps short. We'll see. We'll see.
That could just about take him out of the championship if he goes back and finishes, because that put him in 20th position.
Yeah, if he does not finish, if he runs out of fuel and does not finish, and I'm sure Tony Kanon's aware of that. Tony Kanon, he knows that he's in the driver's seat right now. He can't do anything stupid. It's better to finish 4th or 5th. He's running 6th right now than it is to get up there and do something really stupid and cost yourself a bunch of spots. As we said, anybody who gets a DNF at this point is going to be, it would help everybody but Kanon, and if he gets a DNF, it'd make everybody almost equal in points. Right now, though, the guys who are following Kanon, none of them can afford a DNF.
5 laps to go.
Castroneves and Harnish are running 13th and 14th. Their chances of winning the championship are dwindling very quickly with finishes like that.
As the laps wind down, okay, we heard race control saying about 2 laps. That was about 3 laps ago.
Well, so far.
He's still on the loud button, and here comes Weldon. Weldon making the move to the high side. And does he make the pass for 2nd position? And there it looks like the nose of Matsura right behind Weldon. They're going to try the high side around Buddy Rice. Rice loses some distance on the leader.
Well, while they're running
3 wide, which means that leader's going to pull out to an even greater advantage as long as they stay 3 wide.
Wow, Matsura is he's way out there in no man's land, and he made it work, but that could have been pretty disastrous. I think if he hadn't been out there, I think Weldon had that pass made, but when Matsura got out there and got to kind of mess some things up, Weldon had to pull back in behind Rice. So that was a big help for Rice right there to have Matsura out there blocking for him.
2 laps to go. Kanon has gotten around Franchitti. Kanon now back in 5th position. Franchitti is 6th. Carpenter has climbed back up into 7th position. Herta is 8th. Mira is 9th, and Manning is 10th. We will watch for the white flag, this time by for Adrian Fernandez. He has struggled at times this season putting this racing program together, but right now he is on his way to his first victory of the year.
All of Mexico is going to be very happy if he can make this last half lap and keep out front.
Look at Buddy Rice, though. Rice has closed back down on him. I think he's out of time, though.
Yeah, I think he's out of time. I don't think he's going to be able to make the pass. I think he'll settle for 2nd place right now, though.
And so Franchitti picks up, or Fernandez picks up the victory. at about 58 thousandths of a second between first and second.
Tom Anderson, a very happy man right now as Fernandez gets his very first victory in the IRL.
And he's the elder statesman out there after Little Al retired.
Yep. He did a terrific job. He hung right with him all day long. Never really looked that strong until after that last pit stop.
So there we are. It's been a dramatic race and a dramatic finish too, and success finally to Adrian Fernandez. Let's get the reaction from the two studio guests. Paul, you were saying that maybe he was an unlikely winner earlier on.
Yes, I'd have to put my hand up and say
that's
that was
a diplomatic way of putting it.
That was the case. He did a good job, but I wouldn't say he was the class of the field. I think you had to look to Buddy Rice and to Dan Weldon for the class act. And unfortunately, before his accident, Thomas Scheckter crawled up from the back there, and he was making the running.
Yeah, so maybe Adrian got a little lucky that a potential winner was taken out. What did you make of it, Johnny?
I personally don't think he was lucky at all. I think he drove a great race, and at the end there to lead, he actually held the bottom line pretty much all the way around.
Yes, they couldn't get to him.
Nobody had been doing that up until that point, and you know, it puts a little bit more strain on the car, putting a little bit more G, and they just couldn't get around him. And Matsura was in there kind of messing things up for Buddy Rice and for Dan Weldon.
But also, you've got to go back to the start of the race. He was very persistent there. He was hassling Tony Kanaan right from the start, wasn't he? You know, he was up there in that first two for all those early laps.
I agree. I mean, I don't think we're really giving him credit. I think, like you say, I mean, he was up in the top 2 or 3 pretty much the whole race, even through the pit stops, so he fully deserved to win that one.
Yeah, so what does this do to the series in your eyes then, Paul? How are things shaping up?
Well, Tony finished, and he finished well, so he will continue his points challenge. But Buddy Rice has taken another 7 points away from him, and Dan has taken another 6. So that group is closing up, and I can see that top 4 in the championship fighting for the last lap at Texas in October.
We were hopeful, weren't we, that Dan Weldon would do better, but I mean, he did a pretty good race in the end. He just couldn't quite get to those front two.
I think the problem he had was that Buddy Rice was obviously sort of holding the second lane up. Adrian was hogging the bottom lane, and to actually make a pass on both of them with the third lane, I mean, he nearly got it at one point, and then Matsura came up and pinched him down slightly, and he just couldn't keep the momentum when he was being closed in by Matsura, and had to just tuck back in behind Buddy Rice.
And Darren Manning, another good showing from him. Not quite as good as he would have wished, but nevertheless, it was okay.
It's an engine situation. The Toyotas featured nowhere. They were in the middle of the group, and they were trying as hard as they could. And I think Darren just did what he could with the equipment given to him.
So Adrian Fernandez, it's his first race this season, first race victory.
First win in the IRL.
Are we going to see any more from him, do you think?
Well, at least he's got the money to pay his crew chief's fine from last week.
OK, boys, thank you very much indeed. Well, that just about does wrap it up for this time. Congratulations to our winner, Adrian Fernandez. The race for the championship continues next weekend when the Indy Racing League goes to the high altitude of the Pikes Peak Raceway in Colorado for the Honda Indy 225. So join us for that race. It will, of course, be live right here on Sky Sports. And you can see it here on Sunday evening, August the 22nd at 8:30 on Sky Sports 3. And, of course, as always, my thanks to our special guests, Johnny Molam and Paul Cherry. Thank you, too, for watching. We'll leave you now with some of the highlights from Kentucky. From all of us, it's goodbye for now.